So now I'm going to do another practice problem. And if you watched the first practice problem video, you saw that I had very similar data. But now there's a little bit of a twist to this one. While I still have the observed data that's the same, now my expected has changed. So a teacher predicts the distribution of their grades on the final exam, and here's the data. Well, the teacher predicts that there's going to be the same proportions for each letter grade. So A's are going to have the same proportion as B's, as C's, as D's, and F's. So there is my grade frequency. So now I know, because the proportions are the same, it's kind of an easier problem to do in Minitab. So I'm going to go to Minitab. I have my grades in here and I have my observations. Okay. So then I'm going to go to stats and I'm going to go to, basics, I'm going to go to, I'm all messed up today, tables, and I'm going to go to chi-square goodness of fit test. Click on it. So I have my observed in here and I have my category of grades, and I'm going to do equal proportions. Why? Because remember, it said equal proportions is what it was looking at. So I hit OK. And I get something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this picture and we're going to put it in the document and look at it. So the first thing it wanted was my observed and my expected. So here I have my observed and here I have my expected. So as you can see, all the expected are the same. It's 4 for each. So I expect 4 A's, 4 B's, 4 C's, 4 D's, and 4 F's, which is kind of different from the 5 A's I got, the 7 B's, the 5 C's, the 1 D, and the 2 F's. But is it really that different from each other? So, okay, so then I need to go down here and I need to keep going. You wanted the degrees of freedom. And remember, I don't even have to look at Minitab. Degrees of freedom is number of categories minus 1. So this equals 5 minus 1 equals 4. Okay, and how do I know how many categories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it even says up here categories. All right, so let's do my null and my alternative. My null is that all the probabilities, or excuse me, all the proportions for grades are the same. Okay, what's my alternative? At least one proportion is different. Okay, so I have my two hypotheses. So now I can solve my problem. So if I go back to Minitab, and if I scroll down, I can look here, and I've got something. So I do copy as a picture. And you can do this too when you have Minitab. You can copy and paste this information. So under here, I'm going to put this right there. Okay. So what is my chi-squared value? It's 6. And what is my p-value? 0.199. All right, so since my p-value 0.0199 is greater than my level of significance, in the last video I went over it in a little bit greater detail, so go back and watch that if you're confused. So because it's greater, I fail to reject the null. Okay, so that, what does that mean? So if I go back, so that means this null right here is true and this is false. So even though the proportions look different, they weren't. And let's look at the graph. I'm going to copy the graph over so we can look at it. I'll put it down here. All right, so let's look at that graph. Okay, even though the blue looks really different and that was the observed, they all kind of average out. If I did like that's what kind of chi-squared is doing, was we're finding the average. So even though this one was really tall, this one was really small, so it could kind of take the place of that. So that's what we're looking at, is that how do these average out? And while it looks like they could have been different, they really weren't when we looked at the p-value. So because I failed to reject the null again, here I am. All the proportions for the grades are the same. So then I'm kind of be lazy and I'm going to take it Going to take my hypothesis, and this is another case of if you write really good hypotheses, it makes your life so much easier at the end. So I'm going to paste that there, and look, I'm going to take this line here too, and I'm just going to throw it in front of there. Okay, so I've put everything together that I need. At the 5% level or significance level, all the proportions of grades are the same. So that means that when we look at this, even though the A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's were slightly different in the observed, overall they were pretty similar, and that's what this test shows us.